As humans existing in a media-saturated world, we've had quite a lot of exposure to variant gender identity over the last couple of decades, so I suspect most people are fairly familiar with the concept of the classical transsexual narrative. The distinct but related concept of having a genderqueer identity, however, remains untouched by the mainstream media, possibly because it's quite a hard concept to pin down and soundbite up. So in your own words, what's it like being genderqueer? How would you define it? Do you consider your identity to be a cold, deterministic product of genetics, developmental endocrine fluctuations, or some other biological process? When did you first become aware of it? What is it like to be genderqueer? The pithy answer is that I can't really describe it, as I don't know what it's like to not be genderqueer. But that's a bit of a cop-out and a misreading of your question, so I'll do better than that. For me, and I want to stress for all my viewers that this is my personal experience and may not hold true for any other non-binary folks. For me, being genderqueer is like having two shirts. I wear one of them almost all the time, almost every day, pretty much every day, and it's fine. I don't hate it, but it doesn't quite fit right, and I don't like the way I look when I wear it. Other people own the same shirt, and I think they look great in it, but the one I have is maybe the wrong size or something. I don't know. It just doesn't quite feel right. The other shirt is the one I like a lot better. I like the way it looks on other people, and I like the way it looks hanging in my closet. I like the color and the fit and everything. But whenever I wear it, I have to put it on over the first shirt. And that makes it not quite fit right. And it means that we'll still see the first shirt peeking out from underneath. And I don't hate the first shirt, but I don't like it either. I love the second shirt, but no matter what, it doesn't quite fit me right either. But those are the only two shirts that anyone sells. A lot of my experience of being genderqueer is trying to figure out who or what I am. As a kid, my mom was really great about giving me information about sex and not just stigmatizing queerness is, but when I was a kid there just wasn't as much information available to kids and their parents about what it means to be trans, and especially not what it means to be genderqueer. So I grew up thinking of myself as a girl. I didn't really like being a girl, but what I saw of boys didn't look like that much fun either. To me as a kid, boys were sports, and I did not like sports. As I got a little older and entered high school, I got more and more information. Partially because I was meeting more and more people, and partially because the internet! The internet introduced to me the idea of trans, and for a while I thought, yes, I am trans, I am a trans man, I'm not meant to be a girl, therefore, I guess I am meant to be a boy, and that's the problem. But while I like men's fashion, and I like the options available within masculinity, they don't quite fit right either, like that shirt. So I thought, I guess I'm just a really bad girl. I'm not a tomboy, I'm not butch, I'm not feminine, so I guess I'm not anything. It wasn't until my 4th year of post-secondary, my first year at university, that I even encountered the word genderqueer. The moment I heard it, I knew it was right. It was like being queer, not having a set sexuality, but for your gender. That was exactly what I wanted, that was exactly what I was, what I am. For me, the definition of genderqueer is of having one foot in the masculine-feminine box, where there's that spectrum and we sort of see these gradations, and one foot in the box of fuck that. I've never sat down and thought long and hard about the biology behind my being genderqueer. I live in a pretty typical XX sexed body, and I know some genderqueer folks who are intersex or designated male at birth, or any number of other physical experiences. So I guess to me, it's not that important. Who cares, biologically speaking, why I'm genderqueer? I understand why it's important to some folks, especially folks who are told it's a choice that they can change back or be changed back to say, no, this is how I am. That makes a huge amount of sense to me, but I've been lucky. My nuclear family and friends have never tried to change me. They accept me. My fiance loves me the way I am and will love me no matter what I do to my body. So I've been lucky. So for me, I guess I don't really care if there's a hormonal or biological reason for me to be genderqueer. It's just who I am. That's it. If you identify as genderqueer, or any other non-binary identity, and feel comfortable sharing your experiences, please post them in the comments or make a video of your own. If you send me the video or posts you've made on other media, I'll link to them in the description. It's really important for us to get our stories out there because, like the questioner said, our stories don't get told. How do you play sex toy or modern art? Sex toy or modern art is a game we came up with at the Queer Center I volunteered at. We would run weekly conversation circles with a theme, and we would try to start each evening off with a fun icebreaker, so that everyone would feel comfortable speaking. For the conversation on sex toys, I was in charge of the icebreaker. We'd been joking around, talking about some of the wacky sex toys out there, and I decided to make it into a game. One person is the game master, the Alex Trebek of sex, if you will, and puts together a PowerPoint, or something similar, of images of either sex toys or pieces of art. The trick is to find the most phallic of art and the most non-phallic of sex toys. Vibrators and personal massagers are usually the best bet, although there are a couple of really great dildos out there. Then you jumble them up and go slide by slide and get your players guessing about which one is a sex toy and which one is modern art. I found that about 15 images makes for a pretty quick little game, which is what it's originally meant to be. My favorite way to end the game is to find one over-the-top, absolutely ridiculous one that could be, and usually is, both sex toy and modern art. The game is the most fun when you, as the game master, can also provide information about the toys and the art. Why does this one look like a penis? What does that one even do? Which bits do you use it on? Who buys these things? We buy these things. That's who. If you're thinking of playing this with your friends, a great place to get ideas is Oh Joy Sex Toy by Erica Moen, which is also just a great comic in general. There's a link in the description. I've just been hired as an executive for a non-profit, and we sometimes hold events that are open to the public. We're pretty good, I think, about physical accessibility, but to my knowledge, have never done anything about providing for those who prefer or need gender-neutral washrooms. While I think this organization is fairly progressive on feminist and queer issues, our mandate doesn't explicitly include them, and I suspect my ability to implement changes will be limited. So in summary, what are some steps that event organizers can take to provide for people who prefer or need gender-neutral washrooms in situations where a radical approach, for example designating all washrooms gender-neutral, is not possible? The options available to you kind of depend on the facilities you're using and what facilities are available. At least one of the times that my campus group had an event at our campus pub, the two washrooms, men's and women's, in the pub were left gendered, but the one downstairs in the coffee shop became gender neutral. If your venue, like a theater or other large venue, has multiple sets of washrooms, one option would be to leave one set gendered and turn the other one neutral. This means that if someone doesn't feel comfortable going into the neutral washrooms, they can still use the facilities without ever having to go near the neutral ones, while still having washrooms available to those who need or want to use gender neutral washrooms. If your venue is smaller, there are still options. If there's a single stall washroom available, you could turn that one into a gender neutral one, while leaving the other washrooms gendered. This does run a risk, however, as often single stall washrooms are intended for folks with physical accessibility concerns. The best option, in my mind, is to consider only using venues that already have gender neutral washrooms available. If there's an LGBTQ+ neck of the woods in your city, like there is in mine, there are venues which often cater to queer events, sometimes they'll already have gender-neutral washrooms available. Obviously, not many large-scale venues work like this, but some smaller-scale ones definitely do. And while you say you don't have much power to implement change in your organization, if your nonprofit has elections or other such methods for the membership to make changes to the structure, it's worth thinking about putting forward the motions to include this kind of language. Good luck. Viewers, if you can think of any other options, please mention them in the comments. Actually, hold on. I wanna...